What's going on, guys? Martin from LongaFit here, and I'm gonna walk you through on creating your own fitness meal plan. And by fitness meal plan, I really mean just a meal plan that aligns with your fitness goals. Now, if you already have a meal plan, I guess you could just watch me talk for like the next 12 minutes or so. But onto the meal planning. So usually you would find yourself in one of these three categories. One, you want to lose weight, so you'd burn more fat. This will have you on a cutting diet. And essentially you want to burn more calories than you consume each day. And then number two, you'd want to bulk up or gain weight. So this will have you eating more calories than you burn each day. And that's just called a bulking diet. And three, you more or less already have the sexy body that you want to keep. And you would want to do a maintenance diet, which would have you more or less eat the same amount of calories you burn each day on average. And as a preface to this video, I highly recommend that you pair any of these diets that we're about to talk about with some sort of resistance training. Whether you're cutting or maintaining, you want to do some kind of resistance training to keep all the muscle mass you have. And if you're bulking, you definitely want to do some sort of heavy resistance training to actually gain more muscle mass than you would fat. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's actually build some meal plans. There's essentially two steps to the whole process. The first step is to calculate how much energy our body will need to go on a cutting, bulking, or maintenance diet. And then the second step would be to build the list of food that would provide that energy through calories, protein, fats, and carbs. And some of you may not want to be calculating calories and macronutrients, but hear me out. If you make this plan now, every day after, you wouldn't have to necessarily count calories and macronutrients as long as you stick to your plan. And to me, that's totally worth it. Also, I'll share this little tool that I made that I use myself, and it makes the whole process a lot easier. I'll make sure to include that in the description below. Okay, so let's go ahead and calculate those calories. My favorite calculator is by Legion Athletics. So if you go to legionathletics.com/macronutrient-calculator, and let's just go through the steps one by one. Let's use pounds for our units, and I'll be just using my information as an example. Obviously you would put yours. Gender male. How much do you weigh? Last time I checked this morning was 171. How tall are you? 5'9". How old are you? I'm 30. And then how much do you work out per week? And I'm going to put 4 to 6 because I think that's how much on average I work out. And then here, I'm going to do a cutting diet as an example. So I'll select this. And if you're going to do a lean bulk or maintenance diet, go ahead and pick the right button. And the information we have, if you just scroll down, is right here. Is our calories, ads, protein, carbs, and fat. So jot those numbers down. Not my numbers, your numbers. For me, it's 2074 calories, 207 on protein and carbs, and 46 grams of fat. I suggest you just stick with the preset settings right now, and then we'll talk more about it later to make any adjustments down the line. And step one is done. Not too bad, right? Hold on, let me take a water break. Okay, so on to step number two, which is to build a list of food to meet those energy needs. So there's plenty of ways you can do this next step. There's free applications like MyFitnessPal, Fat Secret, or if you want to go old school, you can even use a pen and paper. I like personally using spreadsheets, so that's what I'm gonna show you how to use, and that's what that link will be in the description. So make sure to click on it and follow along as I go if you want to. So let's go ahead and jump into that. Right here. Okay, so this is the link, and tons of information, I know, but I'll walk you through it. So on the top left here is the nutrition tracker, and basically that just updates as we add new food. And then on the right of that is the new food nutrition, new food details. So basically this looks like a nutrition label, and that's exactly what you're going to fill out. And then to the right in columns I through L, there is the new food information. So like you put your name and the amount you're gonna eat. And I know if you kind of look at the new food nutrition area, there's a lot of information that I didn't mention before, like your saturated fat, your trans fat, your cholesterol, potassium, sodium, dietary fiber, sugars. Yeah, I got you covered. Don't worry. If you don't want to track that information, you can go ahead and go to your preferences table to the bottom left and just turn all of those things off. And I'll just turn off some of those. Personally, I like leaving the sodium, potassium on because I like to know if I'm going to retain extra water or not. And the dietary fiber I keep on just to make sure I'm getting enough fiber to make sure I'm having a better time in the bathroom, if you know what I mean. And sugars, I'll just turn that off for now. Okay, so below that is where we would enter all our I guess calories and protein, fats and carbs. Everything else, like the potassium and sodium, they're just there as a reminder for myself, so you don't really have to change those things. But I'm gonna go ahead and update those numbers. And if you're on a maintenance or bulking diet, go ahead and fill in those numbers in the appropriate table and make sure to check the checkbox next to it. That checkbox basically formats this nutrition tracker to go to green when you're actually close to your goals. It's just basically an aesthetic. So my numbers, I don't remember, but I have it to this next tab. 2074, 27, and 46. Okay. 2074. Oof, my lord. 207 carbs, 207 protein, and 46 fat. Did I get that right? I hope I did. But anyways, okay, so with that updated, make sure that's checked. So essentially what we have to do now is you have to meet your calorie, fat, carbs, and protein goals. Just try to get as close as you can. It's not going to be perfect. It's kind of like a balancing act, but especially if you're on a cut, you definitely want to meet your calorie goal and then at least get enough protein, or at least hit your protein target, and the rest, like the fat and the carbohydrates, kind of fall into place. But at the very most, get the calories and protein in. So I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate how I would manipulate my my foods to meet those targets. So let's see what we have here. So on the right of that is all our food, as you can see. And I pretty much have everything preloaded, so I'm like kind of cheating into this, I guess, table. But I'll demonstrate how to add a new food, just so you get an idea of how to do that. And I'll be adding what I got. I'll be adding. Here we go. I have a muscle milk, and I'll be using focus. Okay. This nutrition label. Oh, it's upside down. Oh, I just turned it upside down, but you get the point. So in the name, I'll put Muscle Milk Pro, and I'll just fill out the information. So 1 serving. Now the units are grams, ounce, pounds, or unit. Unit being just one thing, I guess. So this goes by carton, so this whole thing. So I'll just put 1 unit and fill out the information. So it's 170 calories, 2.5 fat, sodium 2030. I'll just leave potassium as 0 for now, and carbohydrates 8, fibers 4, protein 32. Okay, and the amount I consumed, 1, I guess, unit in this case. And then you just click this add new food button, and then it'll add it to the table. Right here it's highlighted. There you go. So with that checked on, my nutrition tracker gets updated. If you look to, I guess, in column G, you could turn on and off foods. So like, let's say in this particular day, you're not gonna have this muscle milk. You can just turn it off, and then it will deduct from your nutrition tracker. So I'm gonna leave that on, and you can see my fat is going over, but again, not too big of a deal as long as you're hitting your calorie goals. And right now I'm looking at it, I'm a little over, so maybe I can reduce, well, I'm a little over my calories and I'm over on my protein, so maybe I can reduce my protein, and by doing that, I can manipulate my numbers by looking in column U, and if you look, these are all like the numbers or the units I've been consuming. So let's say, for example, I have chicken thighs, which is this row. I can reduce that down to maybe 300, let's say 350. And so now my nutrition tracker is more in line with my calorie, protein, fat, and carbohydrate targets. So I'm pretty much all on point. I'm a little over, but that's okay. Everything's all greened up, and I'm gonna call that a day. So that's basically how I would manipulate my foods to try to get my, I guess my daily goals for macronutrients and calories. Another extra features that you can use in this tool is if you want to move around foods or delete them, select the E column cell, and you can move them down just by pressing this down button. You can move it up, and you can also delete things, and that'll just remove it. Okay, and just a few reminders. Make sure to use a food scale to weigh out all your portions for your meals, just to make sure everything is nice and accurate. And when you take your body weight measurements, make sure it's in the same condition, in the same time of day. So as an example, you would do it in the morning after using the bathroom without any clothes on. Okay, so remember when I talked about adjusting your macronutrients or your calories? So let's say you're on a cutting diet and you've gone 2 to 3 weeks into your meal plan and you haven't been losing weight. So this is what you do. Take 100 calories off your meal plan and also 25 grams of carbohydrates off, and then follow that meal plan for a week or two, measure body weight, and then see if you're losing up to a pound a week. And if you're not, you can still make the increments down by 100 calories and 25 grams of carbs, and just continue that cycle of reducing and measuring your body weight until you're losing up to a pound a week. And then on the opposite side of that, for bulking, if you're not gaining up to a pound a week, go ahead and increase your calories by 100 and your carbohydrates by 25, and follow that new meal plan for a week or two until you're ultimately gaining a pound a week. And on the maintenance side, you just have to make your adjustments up or down until you're on average about the same weight. What I like about meal planning is you get to be your own critic. So some common problems you might run into is like during a cut, you may be feeling super hungry. In that case, try to trade out any shakes or drinks to the food equivalent. So if I was drinking 2 shakes during my cut, I would probably drop that down to 1 and then try to just eat more of my protein source. That way I'm actually eating something than just drinking it, and that makes me feel, more full for longer, I'd say. Another problem would be, let's say you're on a bulking diet and you're not used to eating this much food. Try to find, I guess, calorie dense foods that can get you the nutrients that you need, or look into just shake equivalents. So like trading in some of that protein source for a shake you can just drink down. Another issue would be, I guess, if you're not used to eating that much protein, go ahead and just, again, supplement with shakes or powders. And that's just a lot easier just to hit your numbers by just drinking that extra protein. Another common one too is variety, right? So that's just really falls onto you, how much variety you want to introduce into your meal plan. I mean, as long as you hit your numbers, you'll be golden, and you just, I guess it's a blank canvas, and you can just come up with a whole bunch of different food combinations that hit your calorie and your macronutrient targets. But then again, it does take more time to prepare all these different types of foods. So it's totally up to you. So once you start meal planning, you start to develop these links between the different values of food and how they can help you reach your fitness goals, which I think is awesome. With that being said, go ahead and don't be afraid to experiment with different foods. Even try to work in some of your favorite dessert and indulgences as long as you've hit your calorie and your macronutrient targets. Make sure to comment down below if you run into any issues or you just want to say what's up. But thanks for watching. Until next time, guys. Peace.